Hey everybody, welcome back to another FNL Fridays video and Happy New Year. It is the first day of 2021 and I'm sure, just like myself, a lot of you are feeling that this is a very welcome change of the year and we are looking forward to hopefully all of the good things that will be happening in 2021 and having a better year than 2020. With that being said, as you may have noticed, I have not really been active on social media or posting on here for most of the year in 2020. So hopefully I'll be picking these back up as things kind of settle down and I'm very excited to be back. So with that being said, I wanted to focus this week on January, which is also sometimes known as Veganuary. And this is the second year officially that Veganuary is happening. For those of you who aren't familiar, basically the idea is that for the month of January, you attempt and commit to a vegan lifestyle for the month. So that is the ultimate goal. Now, of course, even if you don't do the entire month, even just some small steps forward if you're looking to cut back on your animal sources of food and products, things like that, this is a great time to try that. And what I wanted to do was just show you some of my favorite options for meat and animal-based replacements. As you might know, I am not a vegan, but I do consider myself a vegetarian and I try to pretty closely follow a vegan lifestyle. Again, I don't call myself a vegan because I am not 100%, but I do try to really cut back on my animal products. And so today I'm going to share with you some ideas so that you can hopefully implement some of these into your diet. So I'm just going to briefly run through a couple of different areas. There are plenty of options out there. Let me just say that there are a ton of options, way more than there used to be. So there's no shortage. And I would say if you're looking to add in more plant-based alternatives, just start slow, do some research, find some recipes. That's the easiest way. And then of course there are pre-made options, which can be a little easier than making some items yourself. Even trying a restaurant that offers vegan meals can be, a chance to try something that is well prepared, that tastes really good. And that way it can give you an idea of what's possible. So I'm going to start with dairy alternatives. Now, I don't really drink cow milk. I haven't for a very long time, partially just because that's my personal preference. I don't really like it. I think it's kind of gross. So I drink soy milk, which is my favorite for the plant-based options. Now, of course, there's a lot out there: almond milk, oat milk, cashew milk, rice milk, hemp milk. There's a ton of them, but I really like soy milk because I think the flavor is the best, the consistency is the best if you're looking for a milk substitute, and it also has the most protein compared to all of the other plant-based sources. So if you're looking to swap out dairy milk, I would say give soy milk a try. Cheese is another big one that it's pretty hard for people to either, eliminate or give up. So if cheese is something that you're looking to maybe replace with a plant-based option, even if it's just here and there, nutritional yeast is one of the best ways to go. I'll be honest, I'm still learning how to use nutritional yeast, but I know that you can add it to sauces and things like that for a cheesy flavor. You can sprinkle it on popcorn and you can even add it to broth, which is what I do when I make my own seitan. Another big dairy source that you might be considering swapping out would be butter. So for me, I use coconut oil as a replacement to butter. I find that the consistency of it is the most similar. The flavor is not, of course, unrefined coconut oil is going to taste more like coconut. So if you want something that doesn't have as much sweet coconut flavor, go for the refined option. But again, this one is cold pressed, unrefined, so it definitely has that little bit of sweetness, which I like. If I'm looking for something that's not sweet as a butter replacement, I would probably just use something like olive oil. All right, so now we're getting on to the meat alternatives. There are a ton of them out there, like I said, and sometimes that can be overwhelming because there's so many options. Let me just say this, there are plenty of options that are packaged, pre-made, that you don't have to really do any thinking. You just cook it. It's flavored. It's meant to be just like a straight replacement for meat. So that can be your first step. If you aren't really much of a cook or you don't really know how to prepare some things, I would start with maybe the pre-made, the packaged ones, just to like dip your toe in the water. And then as you get comfortable with replacing your meat with plant-based sources, then you can start to perhaps try making it yourself. Boca Burgers are one of my favorites. I should say that most of the packaged processed ones are not going to be like the most nutritious. So just keep that in mind. A lot of times they're high in fat, they're very high in sodium. So we want to be cognizant of that and, you know, not really overdo it, just kind of keeping that in mind with how much you're having of it. But again, in a pinch, these are really great. And I really like these as, you know, if I'm going to have a burger or putting it on my salad. The chicken patties are my favorite. So that's a nice, easy one. Now there's also options to replace ground beef. So this is another option. It's O Organics. These are plant-based crumbles, and these are mainly soy-based. So if you have any issue with soy, then these might not be the best option for you, but these are really nice because I can throw them into a chili or I can make tacos, and it's already ground, it's already flavored, and it's just really simple. Morningstar Farms is another big one that you'll see out there in most stores. These are chicken strips, so they don't have too much flavor. They're just cut up and almost unflavored, but they're meant to mimic chicken breast essentially. So again, you can add some flavor to this yourself, or you could just eat it as is. And these are also soy-based, which is very common with plant-based meat alternatives. A lot of them are soy-based. Then we've got this brand, Uncut, which is one that I haven't actually tried yet. I've had these in my freezer for a while, so I do intend to try them. But again, because they are a processed food, I try not to have too much of it, so I tend to go through them a little bit slower. But these ones also are soy-based, very common. Again, the protein's going to be high because of the soy content, but a lot of times the fat is as well. So definitely read your labels, keep an eye out for that. Then we've got Light Life brands. This is another one of my favorites. I've had their burgers, which are good, but my favorite of this brand is actually their sausages because they're spiced so well, you almost can't tell that they are not actual meat. The flavor is just delicious. So I really like these. These are soy-free, and they are pea protein based. So if you're looking to avoid soy for whatever reason, this brand might be a good option for you. Then of course we have our staples, tofu. This is something I always have on hand at home because it's so versatile. You can do a lot with it. I always try to get the extra firm or the super firm versions. So that's what these ones are. You can see they say right there on the front, extra firm and super firm. And the reason I choose those over the other firmness levels is because these are the most meat-like, and tofu picks up flavor very well. So you can really flavor this any way that you'd like to. You can bake it, you can saute it, you can fry it, really anything. You can eat it just as is. It's already edible. You don't have to necessarily cook it. So tofu is a great place to start, but just beware that you are going to want to try to have some recipe or some way to flavor it, because on its own it really doesn't have much flavor. And I think that's why it has the bad rap that it does, is because if you don't flavor it correctly or flavor it at all, it's pretty bland and it isn't the most delicious in my opinion. So you definitely want to find a recipe that gives it some flavor. And last but not least, another one of my favorites is seitan. Now this I made myself, and you can see it kind of actually does look like meat. It's got a very dense texture. It's got a similar color. The recipe that I follow has an awesome flavor, so I make the same recipe every time. I've been making it for years, and I really, really like that one. And it does take time. It's about an hour to make your own seitan, but that'll last me easily a week. So it doesn't take that much time in the grand scheme of things, and I know what's going into it. I know, that there's no added fillers or preservatives, things like that. So it's a little fresher, and I have more control over what's in it and how I flavor it. And the main ingredient for seitan is vital wheat gluten. Now, if you have a gluten allergy or an intolerance, this is not going to work for you. It is very gluten heavy. It's basically what it's made of. So if for any reason, you can't tolerate gluten or don't want much gluten in your diet, seitan would not be a good fit for you. That being said, if you're okay with gluten, Seitan is very high in protein compared to most of the other options. It's relatively low in fat, again, compared to a lot of those other pre-made packaged options. So I really love seitan. I would definitely give that one a try once you get comfortable trying a new recipe. And of course with seitan, you can buy that pre-made. So you don't have to start making it on your own. I just prefer to do it that way, but you can definitely find that in the stores. And of course, tempeh is one more option. I don't have that on hand just because I don't really like tempeh very much. But tempeh is another excellent source of protein. It's got a dense, chewy texture, and you can find that in most grocery stores as well. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I have to say it's really nice to be back. I missed making my videos for you, so I hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully, this information was helpful to you. Maybe you've got some ideas that you can implement. And remember, you don't have to go 100%, right? You can just replace one meal during the week, or perhaps doing meatless Mondays, or swapping out your dairy milk for plant-based milk. There are so many options and tools out there that nowadays it's so easy. So I would encourage you and challenge you to try Veganuary. Again, that starts today for the month of January. I will be doing it as well. So if you need any ideas, reach out to me and let me know. And I will see you on another Friday.